Hi. I forgot there's that little button that I have to push to get myself live. Hi, I'm Tanya Baldwin. I'm from Mind, Body, Spirit, Healthy Self. I am a trauma wellness healer as well as an intuitive, and I do oracle readings. So every morning I've been going live on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn, and now I'm going live on TikTok as well. And what I do is a collective reading. And then after I do the collective reading, I open it up for individuals who would like a card. Whoa, I almost threw them on the floor. That would not have been cool. So stay tuned to see what is the message for the collective, and then we will go on to see what the messages are for individuals who are asking for cards. Hi from Canada too. Whereabouts in Canada? I love to find out where people are. I love to collect from PEI. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, I need my glasses. Reading so much easier with glasses. So if you're on Facebook, I did put in the description how you give StreamYard permissions. It's just going to StreamYard.com because I'm broadcasting through that. StreamYard.com/Facebook, and just put in your information. And hi, sweetheart. Welcome. Okay, so the oracle reading for the collective. The first card that I pulled was Serendipity. Okay, so just showing that for everybody. Number 18, which would also be a 9 if you want to look at the numerological meaning behind number 9. So the essential meaning is an opportunity allied with readiness, the awareness of synchronicity, luck and good fortune appearing as signs and symbols, a magical alignment of events. And what a day, 11/11, to pull this card, right? Like, that's just amazing. So the oracle's message: you've stepped into alignment with the greater good, where your dreams and the collective dream resonate in exquisite harmony. Now is the time for luck and preparation to meet creative miracles, to meet and create miracles that you could never have planned all by yourself. Good morning, sweetheart. Keep in mind that you are a channel for providence right now, as a higher energy uses you as a force on behalf of the whole world. Your fortune becomes everyone's fortune. Your fortune becomes everyone's fortune. Everything you bring into being now will leave a wondrous legacy for people in the future. Your service to the world is being supported at this time. Expect the unexpected. And smile, for Spirit loves you so very much. So for a relationship message, Spirit has a plan, and that plan is to place you in front of the right person at the right time. You have met or are about to meet someone vitally important to your journey, someone Spirit wants to bring into your life. Only divine forces can plan this meeting. It is out of your hands. Pay attention to the signs Spirit presents. I pulled this card before I met my current partner. It's in the new stages, but I pulled that card before I met him, and he came up like weird in like a crazy space. Yes, at 11, 2 minutes of silence to remember those who have given their lives for our freedom, for our protection. And I thank them all very much. So at 11, please take 2 minutes of silence for that. And yeah, thank you for that reminder. So the prosperity message: you are in the right place at the right time. Be grateful, for the stars are aligned in your favor and fortune is smiling on you. Victory and success are yours. The choices you have made in the past have prepared you for the opportunities now before you. This is your lucky moment. The timing is perfect. So it's a really good message from that card. So the other card that I pulled as part of the reading for the collective was number 38, which would become an 11, which is a master number, and it's many masks. And it talks about the authentic self. Energizing internal allies and a conscious shift. We live in a world where everyone we see wears a mask. We wear these masks to cover up and protect who we really are. We learn to do so because we've been conditioned to try to appear a certain way to fit into society. Masks allow us to belong, so we remain within the confines of what is expected. Masks are not inherently bad. Rather, they provide context and structure for our personalities and soul's expression. Some of us might believe that a particular mask, fixed and hardened onto us, is our permanent face. We forget that we are living beings with a multitude of faces, enabling us to experience a fuller, more vibrant world. Your authentic essence doesn't want to be constrained by others' expectations anymore. Now is the time to strip away the mask you've accepted and discover who you really are. A new self is emerging, and your perception changes as you adopt new ways of being. Right now, it's really important to allow yourself to experiment, to experience the world in all its myriad potentials and possibilities. Try on different masks and let yourself be fluid and curious. How will you know what you love and what you resonate with if you don't take off the mask you've always worn and test drive some new ones? Your authentic essence will never change. It will only express itself differently through these optional selves. Through trial and error, you discover more and more about who you want to become. What would it feel like to explore this side of you? Anything is possible if you're willing to open up to your potential. You truly can move beyond the barriers that society has set. Use your imagination and step into the magic. And there is, in that healing process, a huge part of that is peeling away the masks that you think that you need to wear, right? I had a mask that I was a victim, and I wore that very well for a long time. I mean, I was victimized as a child and as a teenager. For those that don't know my story, I have suffered abuse from, probably, if you want to consider the fact that my mom was an abused woman before birth, but I definitely have experienced traumas from my life as early as 6 months of age and onward. I've been kidnapped. I've lived homeless. I have been molested numerous times, physically assaulted, neglected, all of that. And the way that I went through a whole healing process, and that's what I help other people with, is go through a healing process. And a big part of what I'm doing is honoring myself and embracing, this is part of me. This is part of what brings me joy. And if something really lights you up inside, that's yours. That's something that you should have in your life. So I didn't sing for a long time. For most of my life, I didn't sing because I thought I didn't have a voice, because people made fun of me when I was a child, being silly adults going, oh, like you can carry a tune in a bucket, and saying silly things like that to me. Meanwhile, they didn't realize that they took away my love. Like, I love singing. It brings me so much joy every day. So anyway, I've embraced that again as a part of my authentic true self, and it brings me joy every time I sing. So don't let people steal your joy away because they've told you you can't or you shouldn't. You do whatever lights you up. That's who you are. And you've only got one life, so you might as well live it. If you're on TikTok, if you could help by hitting the like button and letting people know, because it'll spread it out a bit further when you give likes to the host. That's how it pops it out and gives it. But yeah, when you think about how much joy I lost out on because other people made me feel terrible about singing, and I think about how much love I've lost over my life of that expression of joy. And your voice is an instrument. That's the other thing about it. Your voice is an instrument, the same as a guitar. And how do you get better with something? You practice. So all I needed was somebody that encouraged me to practice, or maybe set me up with lessons or something, and I would have got as good as I can get, which might not be Adele status, but I can be as good as I could get, which doesn't matter if it's bringing you joy. So the last card that I pulled in this reading is the Queen of Wands. So let's see what her message is. So creativity, passion, determination, confidence, joy, bold expression, helping others as you build your queendom, power. In the shadow seer position, it could speak of jealousy, being afraid to take a risk, not being totally honest with yourself, an optimal time to build your self-confidence and to let go of what other people think, waning passions. You are capable and fierce. It's time to root into your purpose and boldly step into the limelight of your life. Hello, love. I'm not sure how to help you with the StreamYard permissions. But yeah, I see your name, so it might have worked, which is awesome. Okay, so the Queen of Wands radiates creativity and passion wherever she goes. And when she enters a room, her exuberant charisma and confidence are palpable. Don't be afraid to be the center of attention, and for goddess's sake, stop acting small in order to make those around you more comfortable. Make sure fiery bursts of productivity are accompanied by laughter and gratitude. Connection, appreciation, and love. It's okay to hold shadow in all of this light. Don't push it down so deeply that you can't find it again. Accept the parts of you that don't openly share. The past failures that have held you back, they don't define you. So transmute that shadow, sit with it briefly, and then light it on fire because you don't need it anymore. I fill my world with an intense light that connects and incites passion is the message for that. So the whole message of this reading is that, with the, find the card, with serendipity, right? So serendipity, those are signs you're in perfect alignment for everything to come to you. You just need to let go of the masks that you've been holding on to, that you've been wearing, peel them back, try on different masks until you find the one that really resonates with who you are. And by doing so, embracing who you are and not being afraid to bring that out into the light, you can burn away all of the crap that's been holding you back, right? And just incorporate that shadow part. Nobody's all perfect. Nobody's all good. Nobody should be, right? I have things. Sometimes I'm lazy. Last night I was chastising myself for that. I didn't watch TV for years, and like literally for years, I just turned it off. And, occasionally, if I was at someone else's house, I might turn something on. Or I think when I went on a flight, I downloaded some episodes to watch, but I really don't watch TV. And then just before I was getting ready to leave Alberta, my best friend and I were, cohabitating, and we decided we're going to just watch this show called Love is Blind, and we didn't get to finish it. So then when I got here, I finished watching it. Well, there's 2 other seasons. So then I started watching the next season. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm watching trash television, and I don't typically do that. So, I have to allow for the fact that there's sometimes your body, you just want to do nothing, or you just want to, take that moment and it's okay. It's okay that I watched some trashy television. It's okay that I wasn't productive 100% of the time. It's okay that I wasn't, doing all of these other things, right? It's a moment in time. And, next I'll probably be really super productive doing other things that are important. But you have to have that balance, that give and take, that, rest and play, right? Your life should incorporate, work or productivity, and it should incorporate rest that isn't appropriate rest, right? And a lot of us think that we're resting when we're binge watching TV, or we're resting when we're playing video games, or we're resting when we're doing those things. But they tend to cause a rise in your nervous system many times, right? Yes, Sarah, I will definitely pull a card for you. And if anyone else wants a card pulled for them, just comment in the comment section, and I will put you in line to have a card pulled today. And yeah, if you're on TikTok, if you can hit the like button, because then it expands it out more. Good morning, love. How are you? And I think I might try to set the camera up a little bit better for tomorrow, because the way that I had to place my phone so that it wasn't blocking the StreamYard stuff was over to the side a little bit. But it's working. It's working. And I do have to say that the camera on the TikTok looks much better than the camera on StreamYard. It looks very muted, and I don't know, it must be something to do with and yes, Esther, I'll pull a card for you as well. So I have 2 people asking for a card. Right? Not getting stuck in TV too much anymore. But if you want a card, just let me know that you want a card, and I'll pull a card for you. Right now, I'm going to pull a card for Sarah, and then I'm going to pull a card for Esther. So let me know if you'd like a card pulled. Let me see. What am I feeling for Sarah? This one. Yes, you can, Patsy. Absolutely. Okay, so the card that I pulled for Sarah is number 8, community, but I pulled it in the protection state. So let's see what the protection state. So and I'll pull a card for you too as well, Lisa. So I have 4 people. Patty, you're number 3, and Esther's number 2, and Lisa's number 4, and Brittany's number 5. There we go. We'll see how much we can do after that. I do this until around 10. So if there's time, I'll pull more cards. So number 8, community. The way that I'll do this is I'll read the essential meaning, and then I'll read the oracle message, and then I'll talk about what the protection message is, which is what you really want to listen to, is the protection message. So community, the essential meanings: belonging, being seen and understood by others, like-minded connections, a sense of family and friendship, knowing your place in the world. The oracle's message: this card signals a new affiliation with a group. Humans are social creatures, and we need to know we are useful to our families and communities. In a community, everyone has an important function and feels I matter. Membership in the group provides a sense of belonging, of kinship, and of purpose that comes from working together for the greater fulfillment of all. Perhaps you are part of a spiritual community or an artistic one. Perhaps you are in a learning community where you share your love of education. Regardless of its form or focus, your community brings you joy. You will be inspired by it and want to contribute to it. Your contribution may be as small as showing up or as large as becoming its leader. No matter your position in the group, your presence is needed. So the protection message. Beware of compromising your integrity in order to belong. And how often do we do that? Right? How often do we say we don't like something, or we don't value, or we allow like our values to get a little bit shady because we want to just belong? We're afraid to stand up and say I don't like that, or I don't tolerate that, because it may make us excluded from the group. Especially now when we're in a world that's being so polarized. Try not to set the volume. I think that works a little better. When we're in a world that's being so polarized by TV, right? Difficult with Virgo, definitely. You can't see the comments on the Facebook thing, but just funny talking about TV and yeah, when we're looking. So how do you dim your light or change yourself so others will accept you in a group? Do you hide who you really are in order to play a role within the larger whole? This will never fulfill you. Now is the time to assess your willingness to be real. Stand tall, be you. Authenticity is true self-expression and the only way to empower yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself and step into the role your heart tells you to take. Making yourself small bears too high a cost, right? And I think, this card really ties in with the reading that was for the collective about that being your authenticity, right? And when we get a card that is pulled for somebody else that resonates with you, that's called a Cledon. So it's just Spirit's way of getting that message to you in another way. So you maybe didn't expect to have it, but that message still resonates. So I like that that's resonating for you, Lisa. We'll see what happens when I pull your card. So the next card's for Esther, and then the card will be for Patsy, and then Brittany. Okay. And Lisa. Sorry. Esther, Lisa, Patsy, Brittany. There we go. Right order. So Lisa. And if you want a card pulled, just let me know. If you keep liking on TikTok, it will spread the video wider. Yes. All right. Let's see. So this one is for Esther. Actually, this card right there. Okay. So Esther is the card Mending, number 52. So Mending is a good one. I've gotten Mending before, and I listened to it, and it definitely did have a good effect by listening to it. I feel like my camera shifted a little bit. Get to 52, 50, 52. Yay. Okay. So this is for Esther, number 52, which would also be, if you wanted to, you could look at 7 for a number as like for numerology as well. So essential meaning: forgiveness, making amends, healing after arguments. The oracle's message: each time we are hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding and integration, we accumulate an unwanted burden. It's how we end up getting trauma, right? We didn't have the coping or the soothing capabilities at the time that experience happened, so we couldn't integrate it or let go of the emotional energy. So we stored it within our bodies, we shut it down within our minds, we fracture part of our spirit. Like, we do all of these things to save ourselves and spare ourselves from the full weight of what we're experiencing at the time that we're experiencing. Imagine being, what would have happened with me when I was 6 months old and I was beat. At a 6-month-old, you don't have the capability to soothe, and the person that's supposed to soothe you isn't soothing you. They're instead harming you. So how do you soothe yourself? Well, you don't. So then you store that pain and that trauma and that hurt, the emotions that you can't even comprehend. You store that within your body because you don't know how to soothe yourself, right? So that stays until you heal it. Right? It stays until you heal it. So the oracle's message, I'm going to continue with that. So this keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal: the pain, the memories, the echoes of resentments, and the arguments we rehearse over and over. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of the old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, to release, to make peace, and to make amends to others. Set yourself free. So one thing that's important to remember is when we forgive somebody, we're not condoning the behaviors that they gave, that of what happened. We're not condoning what happened. We're not saying it's okay what you did to me. All we're saying is I'm okay to let go of what you did to me. I'm okay to not hold that energy in my body. I'm not saying that what you did is okay. So if I forgive my parents for, the life that I had, for the childhood traumas that I suffered at, whether at their hands or at the lack of care, me saying, it's not saying that what they did was okay. It's just saying I no longer want to hold on to that. I no longer want to allow that to affect me in my day-to-day life. So forgiveness isn't about saying it's okay, that what they did was okay. Hi, Mirth. So in a relationship message, as for Esther, you've come to a place where forgiveness is necessary if you're to move forward. Separate or together, you and the other person are still experiencing the effects of a hurt that is impacting everything you do, even if you're not aware of it. The energy needs to clear. What must you do to bridge this gap? Your closing your heart is not the answer. You have the power to heal this wound. Ask yourself, what would love do? Only good will come of forgiveness and an honest redress. And if you're talking about prosperity, so the prosperity message is for personal growth. It could be for your career. It could be an entrepreneurship. It could be personal development. I don't know if I said that one. So in any area where there's the potential for money or growth in a financial capacity. So in the prosperity message, and just as a side note, the relationship message is any partnerships or relationships that exist in your life. It could be, a relationship with a family member, with a child, with a parent, with your loved, like with your actual partner, in any area, business partnerships, that type of thing. So the prosperity message: everyone makes mistakes, especially when you want something very badly. You may come to realize that in chasing after a pretty shiny thing, you lost sight of long-term sustainable prosperity. Sometimes you make choices that look good at first, but ultimately lead to loss or failure. It's time to forgive yourself and others. Don't blame anyone else. You get to start again, wiser and more mature. The journey to true abundance can be bumpy. Make amends to anyone you may have hurt along the way, especially yourself. Forgive those who may have taken advantage of you. Let go and learn from this. You are now that much closer to achieving the kind of prosperity that really fulfills you. Nothing is ever lost or wasted when you view it from this perspective. Right? And I try to look at everything that's going on within my life as an experience or a lesson. And, so it's a little form of detachment that happens, because no matter what happens with the person that I'm experiencing something with, if it's a great thing, then it's a good experience. If it's not, well, then maybe there's a lesson that I can learn from it. What is there somewhere that I need to grow? Is there somewhere that I can open up my perspectives a little bit more, or can I just throw my cards everywhere? So on a side note, I entered that Fab Over 40 contest, and in my group, I made it into the top 5. Voting continues. You can vote every single day, and I would really appreciate it. If I win the competition, part of the competition is $40,000. That's what you win. And with that, I want to give 4 scholarships to my trauma wellness program so that people can have access to healing for free. So it would I'd want to give these to people who are less fortunate and can't afford to purchase the programming. And people. Thank you so much for voting again, sweetheart. So this card is actually for you, Lisa, and then it's Patsy's card next. So Lisa. Lisa. Number 24, time for a nap. It's a beautiful card. I love how it shows up on this camera. The camera's looking really good. So Lisa, number 24, time for a nap. The essential meaning: rest, rejuvenation, and renewal, temporary non-action, allowing dreams to arise. The Oracle's message: this is a time to step away and rest. Let the cares of your world go. Go into a state of non-action and allow yourself to be free of the shackles of your goals, your lists, your desires. Nothing is as important as rest, detachment, and neutrality. The overly busy mind can block you from inner wisdom if you don't step back, take a seat, and rest. Be willing to let dreams surface and ideas flow through you, absent any force or conscious direction, as you observe without engagement now. Aw, say hi to granddaughter. Relationship message or partnerships. When it comes to matters of the heart, don't make any plans right now. If you're not partnered, it's a good time to take this time out to get to know yourself. You're being in... No. If you're involved with somebody, I don't know why I skipped that one. If you're involved with someone, relax and just be with your partner. This is going to be an uneventful moment in time. Don't force anything new. Allow things to flow naturally. A beautiful renewal will take place all by itself. Patience is the key to your heart's desire right now. Withdraw from action in your relationship and give it a rest so that your love and connection can become rejuvenated. For prosperity, this is a great time to take a break from your busy schedule and allow yourself the opportunity to step back. See, if I read that message, it would be like an okay to go and watch some trashy television. Just rest. Your plans are meant to be put on ice. Your goals can wait. Dream, imagine, and let go of attachments to any outcome now. Meditate and take a holiday if you can. Things will speed up soon enough. After a break, you may want to make some changes. Epiphanies have an amazing way of arising when you take your focus off your to-do list and allow yourself to rest. And it's really interesting how that does happen, right? When we take a step back from do, and we just, we go into play mode or rest mode, sometimes that just makes our creativity explode, or we get these bursts of inspiration because we're not in that task-oriented mode. There you go. You know what? When I did that, I actually put a little gold band on my finger. It's a super small band. And I put that on to say that I was in a relationship with myself because I really needed to get to know myself. I kept getting into, one bad relationship after the other. And I had to take a moment and sit there and go, what's the common denominator in all of my relationships? Me. I can say maybe I'm attracting, I could say, oh, all guys are bad, but that's not true. Not all guys are bad. There's not all of anything. Life isn't a grayscale. It's not black and white. But sometimes when we're traumatized, we have a very black and white perspective, or we think that things happen to us, which they don't. We are in control. We really are. And I can choose how I'm going to feel about something at any moment of the day. But I needed to resolve my traumas and how I perceived myself as not being good enough. So I would stop attracting people who would reaffirm that I'm not good enough. And that's what they did, kept reaffirming that. So I took the time to just spend time by myself. And I love it. Yes. Self-love rings. That's what I'm going to put out. I'm going to put out a line of self-love rings at some point. So that'll be your little, I'm in a relationship with myself to get to know myself. And yeah, I love it. So this is a card for Patsy. And if anyone else wants a card, just let me know. I know that after Patsy, I have Brittany. And if anyone else wants a card beyond that, just let me know. And for those on TikTok, because this is the first time that I've gone live on TikTok, I don't pick up cards that fall. I actually feel for the card that I want to pull for the person. when I spread it out in like a fan. So for those on Facebook, I never hold it up high enough, or on YouTube or any of the other ones that I'm streaming to. So I shuffle till I feel like I want to stop shuffling, and then I splay the cards out, and I just feel along the cards until I feel that this is the card that I want to pull for the person. Okay, so Patsy, I pulled the Fates, number 17. And I'll show that over here so you can see it really well. The Fates, number 17. Good morning, Melissa. How are you? And you're welcome, Lisa. So the Fates is for Patsy, number 17. The essential meaning: fate, karma, acceptance that there are things you cannot change, and knowing that there are things that you can. The Oracle's message: the Serenity Prayer sums up the meaning of this card. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There are things in life you will never have control over. It's true, right? I can't control what Putin's doing. I can't control what is going on in the States in politics. I can't control what my neighbors do. All I can control is what I'm doing and how I'm responding to the things that are happening around me. I'm under Mind, Body, Spirit, Healthy on TikTok. So just mind.body.spirit.healthy. So I can drop that in the comments at some point. So there are things in your life that you don't have any control over. Sorry. I got burned one time allowing somebody to just join me on my live, where they thought it was humorous to make fun of trauma. So I don't just allow people to join my TikTok without having vetted them beforehand. So there are things in your life you will never have control over. The conditions brought on by the evolution of the collective, by nature, and by your past experience may be fated, preordained by spirit for a greater purpose you cannot understand in this lifetime. It may not be in your cards to understand why certain events occurred, but you can accept the mystery and work with what those events and your current circumstances have to teach you. This is the wisdom contained in the Serenity Prayer. For the relationship message: other people are who they are. And I talk about this, right? Meet people where they're at, not where you wish they were. You can't change them. The challenge is to accept them as they are and not try to make them otherwise to suit you. This is a time to look at how you attempt to mold people to fit your view of how they should be, so you can remain in the relationship and avoid discomfort. What if who they are and whatever is happening between you and them in this situation is perfect from this perspective of spirit? Now is the time to accept what you cannot change, even if it means that you honor yourself, spirit, and the other person by moving on. Love unconditionally, for each of us is on our own journey, and we cannot direct that of another. Be aware that this relationship is indeed fated, and you are meant to evolve into a better person of yourself as a result of it. So that could be a tough message to receive. I've been, in relationships when, much love to you, sweetheart. I've been in that situation where the relationship, I thought that it was my forever person. And what it really was a huge lesson. It really was. Hello, Ms. Felice. I love the 777. I'm all about the angel numbers. So for the prosperity message for you, Patsy: your experience concerning prosperity and abundance are beyond your personal control right now. You are being invited to accept what is unreservedly. This could be a temporary situation, seemingly thrust upon you by outside forces, but there is an underlying purpose you can't see that has been determined by the fates. It could be a situation you are unprepared for, and you may not understand how it will benefit you in the moment. Do not fight the situation. Ride it out and see where it leads. Surrender to it, and the serenity you need to make good choices from here on out will be given to you. You will indeed flourish. So I hope that message resonated with you really well. And it's, some things that happen in our life, they really are beyond our control, because we can only control us or our reaction, right? We can't control the stuff that's going on around us. But when we control our reaction to things, that dramatically changes what we see in our lives, right? If somebody, determines, say that they don't want to be in a relationship with you, if you look at that as awesome. And I know that's hard to do. I've been there and tried that. But if you look at it like, That's awesome. This person that is obviously not for me. If they were, they wouldn't be leaving me. And by them exiting out, that means that the door opens for the person that really is meant for me to come in, which is what we ultimately want, right? We want that person that aligns with who we are in a much healthier way. And sometimes that means we have to find out what our healthy is. How do we get ourselves to that healthy space? So part of it is about how do you becoming who you want to attract to your life, right? If I want somebody, there's this big joke on Tinder that I hear from people about how the Tinder girls are all going around at 6'6", 6 feet tall, 6-pack, and 6 figures. And if they don't have those 3 6s, so the 3 6s is what all the girls are looking for. If you don't got those 3 6s, bye-bye, right? But do you have 3 6s? Because that's what you should be trying to do. If you want to attract 3 6s, you should have 3 6s, but they're not. They're just, I have these expectations. Well, if you're looking at somebody based on expectations, you're going to get a very rude awakening anyway, right? We want to meet things where they're at. It's like the whole notion of the gap and the gain. A lot of times we spend our time in the gap, right? And that's that expectation zone, and I talk about this when we say we want to lose weight. Oh, I want to lose 10 pounds, right? I want to lose 10 pounds in a month. And at the end of the month, you've only lost 5 pounds. So you're immediately disappointed because you didn't get to 10. Rather than saying, well, in the gain section, I lost 5 pounds. I won, right? I won by losing 5 pounds. Instead, we say I lost because I didn't lose an additional 5 pounds. So I didn't win the goal of what I set for myself. And that leaves us in that of disappointment because we didn't meet that expectation. And we do that with people all the time. If he only, if he only did more housework, if he only, talked to me in this way, if he only met my needs by doing this, that, and the other thing, it would be perfect. If just this, right? Well, that's probably not going to happen. Because that person is that person, right? When we do change, I've changed really, really like a lot in the last 2 years. I've changed immensely, but I'm still inherently who I am. For somebody to be with me with an expectation that I should be something other than what I am, that's really unfair to me. Why shouldn't somebody just love me who I am and where I'm at? Right? What are you bringing to the table? Exactly. And it should be, the same thing. If you want to be, if you're sitting there in your mind and you're like, I want to be this, super, rich person, I want to have this massive company that's doing all of these amazing things. And, if you want all of those things, what are you doing today to get them? Right? Are you putting action in place to go towards your dreams, or are you just sitting waiting for them to come to you? Because things don't tend to just fall in our lap, right? We can sit and do all the manifesting we want, and we can manifest that perfect love into our life. But if you don't leave your house, what do you think? They're going to fall through the chimney like Santa Claus? They're not. You got to do something. Otherwise, it's just a dream, right? And if you want a dream to become real, you have to do something. You have to bring something, right? And again, if you want somebody that's 6 figures, that's got a 6-pack and that's 6 feet tall, what are you doing to be that type of a person, to attract that level of a person to you, right? As an example. So yeah. So this card, much talking in between that, but this card is for Brittany. And if anyone else wants a card, just let me know and I will more than certainly pull a card for you. We still have plenty of time. And I tend to go till around 10 o'clock, although if I have some good requests for a card, I will go a little bit longer if necessary, because, it's all more for me about value than it is about ending it right on time. And just as for anyone to know, I also share this audio recording to, yes, Melissa, you can definitely have a card. I also share this to Spotify. I have a podcast on Spotify called Trauma Talk Live, where I share this so you can listen to previous recordings as well. So this one is for Brittany. Let's see what vibe I'm getting for Brittany here. That one right there. I like this one. Number 48, poised. And I pulled it in the upright position. Of course you can have a card, Jess. Good morning. Thank you. And by the way, thank you, because I know you're one that consistently votes for me as well. I am in the top 5 for my group in the Fab Over 40. So the voting, I think this one here is where they take the top 1 person maybe from each group, and then they combine the groups for that grouping. So if you could vote for me, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. I actually did something with it this morning. I actually did something with my hair this morning. I was feeling, feeling fine, feeling fine, or how is it? Feeling good, like I should. That's the song. So essential meanings: being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. You can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and your sense of a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. So this is for Brittany. If you're looking at a relationship, when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You are ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. And confidence does. Confidence brings people to you, right? When you're authentic, you're vibrating at a different frequency than when you're being inauthentic. And that frequency that you're vibrating at, especially when you're fully in love with yourself, which that's what it takes to be authentic, right? When we're in our authentic expression, we love ourselves. We love those parts of ourselves that maybe people think are a little weird or a little off. I actually identify as a witch. I believe that I am, and not a dark witch. I don't do dark magic. I don't, do anything bad. I do oracle cards. I do intuitive readings. I do energy healing. I work with crystals and herbs and incense and things like that. And I love plants. Like, I'm probably going to have like so many plants in my house because I just can't stop. I adopt them. They're my babies. And I love animals and nature and stuff like that. So, and I'm spiritual. That's my definition of being a witch. But I embrace that authentically, and I love myself because of that. And to stand in your authenticity, to be that, to stand firmly in that, it takes that self-love, right? That's a big part of it. So it is a beautiful place to be. Then you start resonating, and other people start resonating with that's exactly who you are, and you love yourself and you're confident. And I want a piece of that. I want to be around that. That feels like sunshine, right? So the prosperity message: you have every reason to feel confident, Brittany. Everything you need to make your success concrete is now at your disposal. You can take action knowing you are ready to step into your power, into your light, and into your service to the world. The direction you're moving in is your destiny. Your soul is smiling with joy as you align with this truth. So very, very positive message for you. And you can see, like, she's standing there and she is just like, she's so happy, just gloriously happy, about to jump into, take that risk and just jump into the unknown, because she knows she's got it. She's got all the knowledge she needs to have. She's got all that wisdom. She's confident. She trusts herself. So I hope that you feel confident and can trust yourself too, Brittany. Yes. Oh, sweetheart. Is there a way to change those thoughts or get into your body a little bit out of those thoughts? My phone. Oh, apparently my phone's telling me I've sat long enough. No, they're wrong. A plant mom. Yep. Well, I did. I was talking to a lady about coming to her house and seeing what plants I was going to buy from her this time. Oh yeah. And it's very challenging to be your true self with people that you live with, trying to keep you in line. And you know what? Unfortunately, it comes down to sometimes people will fall away as you're finding who your true self is and you're stepping into that. And it's okay, because when they leave, the other people that are truly meant for you will align. And it's incredible over the last probably 2 to 3 years, the dramatic shifts that I've seen in my life as I have embraced who I am, the people that fall away. And I tried not to, like, the people that don't understand me. I mean, my brother has finally said, you know what, I don't like the whole oracle stuff. It's not my bag. But he goes, I'm going to try my best to not allow my limiting beliefs or my viewpoints around that to come across negative in any way, because it's something that you love and that you embrace and that you're using together. So I'm not gonna try to detract from that or make you feel bad or make you feel weird. So it was nice to see him finally embrace what I'm doing as well. So people will get on board with who the authentic you is. And if they don't, then they fade away and they make space, right? It's that whole thing. And I wish I had my cup, but I don't, because my coffee's sitting on the coffee maker over there. And I'm like, give me 1 second. Coffee. Now I can take a sip. But yes, this is the way that I like to show it. I have a cup that I love. If I no longer like this cup, if I want another cup, I have to actually let go of this cup to give the space to have that new cup, right? So you have to be okay with letting go or losing things, because the things that fall away from you aren't meant for you. And when they're gone, that leaves space for the things that you can. You can't have a great job if you're going to work every single day to a toxic workplace. You can't have a positive, healthy relationship if you're not leaving one that's unhealthy and toxic, right? You can't have two things can't occupy the same space. So if you want that stuff to come in, you have to be willing to let go of things that aren't serving you, that aren't aligned with the true you. And I know it's hard, especially when you're living in that bubble. I got progressively more frustrated. I used to do a lot of heart-focused breathing in situations where people were not aligned with me, just to keep grounding myself into my own body and just focusing on my heart space and thinking about things that were joyful or loving or gratitude, to just really to keep that energy out. Take a sip. And then I'm going to do a quick, because I'm trying to get I know Melissa wants a card, and I know that Amarpreet wants a card, and Jess. So I think this card now is for Jess. So Jess, Melissa, Amarpreet. That's the order. All right. And hi from Vancouver Island. I love Vancouver Island. I lived in BC for about 10 years of my life. Beautiful, beautiful. My only issue is the actual cost of living. However, I live in Ontario, so I don't think that it's all that much different. I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit more expensive in British Columbia right now, but I mean, comparably, it's pretty expensive here. Yeah, I lived in quite a few different places in British Columbia, mostly in like Surrey, but I lived in Langley for a while as well. But yeah, the cost of living everywhere is really, really, really expensive, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I say that all the time, right? Like, even, with my new relationship that's, developing, I keep saying to myself, if this person isn't, the true person to align with me, then let them leave, but don't stand in the doorway, right? You're either in or you're out. And you either align or you don't. And if you don't, I'm okay with letting it go. I'll just try to look at the experience. That doesn't mean I wouldn't be sad. That doesn't mean I wouldn't cry or mourn the loss of the relationship or go through grief process. That's just going to happen. But it just means that I'm going to look at it from the perspective of, that just obviously wasn't my person. If it was my person, he wouldn't have left me, right? Like, if he was my person, he's going to be with me. That's just the way that it goes. So if he's leaving, then that means that space is opening up now for me. That's the one. Okay. So this one's for Jess. And I've gotten this one before. Chop wood, number 42. All right. This is a good one. I love this card. Because I just love it. So chop wood, the essential meanings: being grounded in everyday experience, humility. The oracle's message: there are times when the big dream is meant to lie dormant in your consciousness so that you can pay attention to the simple chores in your life. Carry water, chop wood, carry water. Exactly. There are times when the big dream in your life is meant to lie dormant in your consciousness so that you can pay attention to the simple chores in your life. Consider why pruning a tree is the forerunner of delight in the beautiful blooms when it is in full blossom. The mundane act of pulling off dead leaves, watering the soil, and then leaving it to let nature take its course is an important step in manifestation. Take your attention away from your goal brings you into a state of receptivity. This is the deeper purpose for releasing attachment. When you engage in everyday tasks in a meditative, contemplative way, you clear your energy to receive your aha moments, which brings you ever closer to what you seek. In a relationship message, nothing is important, right? As is important right now as just doing what you need to do day to day. Let your heart remember that not everything has to be hard won, passionate, or even obviously meaningful. Relationships and friendships go through lulls when the everyday tasks are at the center of awareness. That is perfect now. Hold hands, wash dishes, make a fire, read a book, share a meal, say nothing, stare into space, pick up socks, tell a dumb joke, and leave space to breathe. The work of your relationship right now is very simple, just to be present. Funny how it takes work to just be. All is well, really. The prosperity message. Yes. The prosperity message. Now is the time to take small steps rather than larger leaps on the journey to creating your most prosperous life. Move your focus off your big dream and attend to the mundane chores. Focus on the little things that may have piled up while you've been mapping out the greater plan for the life you aspire to manifest into reality. Chop wood, carry water, as the Zen proverb advises, or wash dishes, walk the dog. While you're doing all of that, Spirit will have a chance to move mountains and set wondrous miracles in motion for you. Remain humble and aware of the present. And we can all do so much better by just being in the present moment. And sometimes those little tasks, they need to be done. There's nothing else that we can do but do those little tasks. And I love when I get this card for me because it's a reminder to focus on doing for my company those little tasks that I might not, necessarily like so much. Like I hate filing taxes. Just not a thing that I like to do. There's lots of, it'd be like if you had to go and get your license, renewed at the registry. I did that the other day. I had to go in to what in the States they would call the DMV. But anyway, I had to go there to get my license changed over from Alberta to Ontario. That's not something nobody wants. And I don't know anybody that's like, yes, let's go do that. Right. So, but you have to, it's one of those carry wood, chop wood, carry water, right? Mind merging them both, right? It's one of those tasks, those mundane tasks that we don't like to do, but that we need to do. So that's what this card to me reminds me of is, there's sometimes you have to dot the I's and cross the T's. And as much as that may not be the fun part or the creative part, like I love doing this. I love doing the card readings for people and pulling cards. And, I love doing the healing stuff. I love doing my full moon and all of those things. I do full readings that I do if you want, and I can send you a link to book a time for a full reading through my Calendly link. I'll look at the comments afterwards and see that. But yes, I can pull a card for you right now though if you would like that. And I love Victoria. Victoria is beautiful. So Jess, Melissa, Amarpreet. I have to keep my order. So this one here is for Melissa because chop wood, carry water was for Jess. All right. So Melissa. I want that one right there. Melissa. Hello, love. All that glitters. Number 16. Okay, and show it on here. Make sure that it's being seen on there. So all that glitters. Number 16. I remember getting this one and I was excited for a moment. And then I read the message and I was like, oh, it's not what I was thinking when I just looked at it briefly. So essential meanings, a need to see beyond the superficial, the desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you're not, chasing after every sparkly new thing, being mercurial. I chase after education. I am an education, I don't know what to say. I do. I get educated and I'm just like, oh, I want to learn that. Oh, I want to learn that. Oh, I want to learn that. And I have to stop. I have to be like, wait a second. There's only so many hours in the day and you have to do all these other things. Like you have to have the space and the time free to be able to take on more education. So, this is a good message, right? Sometimes we take on too much. So it's only human to want to adorn oneself in trinkets and paint a pretty picture of oneself. It's natural to want to acquire the trappings of status or to deny them as a statement of rebellion. But if it sparkles, is it better? Whether it's a fast car, a big house, a title or position, the stamp of authority, or the sparkling of diamonds, these icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing. Or do they? The truth is that people seek to acquire things because of what they will do for them and how they symbolically will elevate them and make them more attractive. This card signals that it's time to see beyond the adornments and probe underneath the surface. Learn to recognize the masks people wear and the motives underlying them. Imagine that all the glitter is gone. Would you still desire the object or person? Sometimes we try to become this is the relationship message. Sorry, the relationship message. Sometimes we try to become something we're not to impress others. We embellish a story a bit, adding some dramatic elements to make us more appealing. The real person becomes hidden behind the sparkle and shine. Then there are times when we don't see the true value of someone else because he or she may not have the glitz and glamour that seems so desirable. Now is the time to look past the surface, beyond the mask, to the essence of a person. Who that person is, not what she or he has to or can give you, is important. See beyond the glitter and look for the inner glow. Use the eyes in your heart. Let go of the artifice and let what is authentic shine. For a prosperity message, sometimes an opportunity looks so good that it glitters like gold and you just can't resist it, especially when it appears others are doing so well and have hit the mother lode. So like, the whole cryptocurrency thing, right? This would be an example of that. People are like, I got millions of dollars buying cryptocurrency, but that might not be something that you should necessarily jump into. And I'm just using cryptocurrency as an example. Right. During the American gold rush, everyone hurried west to find their fortune and then deserted entire towns after the mining depleted the gold veins in the earth. So too can you deplete yourself as you chase after the latest shiny thing that has caught your eye. There is a mercurial quality to your present circumstances. Pay no attention to those who chase after fool's gold. Resist the temptation to be jealous of others. What they have achieved may not be the true success you seek, so don't compare yourself to them. You see only the surface right now, only the sparkle. Be assured that you will experience your own shining moment if you stick to what you know. All that glitters may not be gold for you. So it's a great, great message for all of us even, right? So say like, people that are going, I would love to be Elon Musk. Would you? Would you really? Because as much as and I'm not a big supporter of Elon Musk because I think with his billions and billions of dollars, he could be making way more changes to the world in a positive way. That's not to say that he's not doing things, but I think he could easily do more. But that man works. That man's not he works. He gets up at 5 a.m., he has a huge schedule. And, he's a lot of times, there's memes out that talk about the fact that people are like, oh, I'd love to be you. Sorry, I was just reading a message on Facebook too, but they'll have those messages, people like the meme, saying, oh, you think that this comes to me easily kind of thing. And he's like, I work 16 hours a day or I work 12 hours a day. I can't remember, but he works a lot. Like he puts in a lot of work and is constantly go, go, go. And that's how he got that way. It's the same thing. People being like, oh, I'd love to be like Ed Sheeran or Adele or whatever. Well, Ed Sheeran practiced like an enormous amount to get where he was. He's been on programs before and shown how, you know, when he was a kid, he had like actually had, you know, some pitch issues. Like he wasn't born with this, you know, amazing ability to sing on perfect pitch and, you know, make beautiful music. He didn't come out like a savant. He actually practiced and practiced and practiced and trained and trained and trained and has so many hours of practice. So sometimes we look at that glitter, that gold of, oh, it'd be so nice to be like these famous people. But underneath, we don't realize there's a lot of work that they did to get to those spaces. So if you're not willing to take on the work or recognize that, right? Or sometimes we want something because it seems so beautiful and shiny, but underneath, it's really not all that good, right? You know, like see somebody, say you meet somebody that has like a ton of money or, you know, whatever. And then, you know, you get to know them and they're like they're really not that good of a person. Right. And it's like, well, just because they have money doesn't mean that they're better than, like, money doesn't change anything. Okay. So this card is for Amorpri, and then the next will be Liz. Yeah. Exactly. And it's true. They don't realize how much work goes in, and they just want to get to the end. They just want what they have. They don't want to do the actual work that it takes to get to that point. Right? They don't want to put in the effort and do the work to get those results. So this is for Amorpri, and then Liz after that. Imagine number 20 for Amorpri. Number 20. I just love the color of this card, and it is really pretty. It's just such a pretty card. You know, she's standing in the middle holding like the string for the balloon that's attached to the moon, right? And just the light is just, it's just beautiful. So imagine number 20. So you could look at number 2 as well for an additional message. Numerologically, that's a hard word to say. It's too many syllables. So the essential meaning, Amorpri, turning imagination into manifestation, creative thought, visualization, the power of aligning imagery and feelings, creativity, illusions. The Oracle's message: who do you want to be? What do you need to believe in order to have the life you want? You were gifted with the power to imagine. If you can dream it, you can create it. Bob Proctor used to say, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And it's true. Everything that's ever been built came from an imagination, right? That's why we are master creators. We are absolutely, every one of us is a creator, right? We create lots of things inside our mind and make them real in our hand. This is the time when your imagination is the key to manifesting the life you desire. On 11/11, it's the perfect time for manifestation as well. Spend time daydreaming, fashioning a vision board to help you see your goals, or meditating. Allow the power of your creativity to deliver images of what feeds your soul. Then allow your feelings to mingle with your inspirations and imagine these things being real right now. Then repeat. What you imagine will become your belief, and soon you will see these things come to pass in the outer world, as if by magic. Relationship message. In matters of the heart, it's easy to daydream about another as a means of connecting to that person. Well, that's romantic. If you want this relationship to be real, you need to go for it, not just dream about it. Now is the time to move beyond the daydream and into reality, beyond the illusion and into fruition. Relationships are about relating. So step out onto the dance floor where imagination partners with manifestation. The message of this card is that a person that with attributes you have imagined will enter your life. You'll be changed for the better. Imagine that. The prosperity message. This is a powerful time to get clear on how you create your prosperity, what it means to you to be prosperous, and what attributes you need to develop in yourself to make things happen. Who do you need to be to live out your dreams? Can you imagine the kind of life you desire? Really imagine it without holding back the sheer force of your powers of creativity. If you can envision it, you can have it. Get ready, for prosperity is waiting for you to claim it now. Act as if, and your dreams really will come true. So one of the things that I did was and part of what I do with my clients as well is I talk to them about drafting an image of yourself, that how you wish that you saw yourself, right? Because we often, our image is distorted. Our image is the collection of all the experiences that we've had and the way that people have made us feel about ourselves, especially as children. So if, case in point, I was called Miss Piggy, I was called Pork Chop, I was told I was fat, I told I was chubby, I was told I was ugly, and all of these things said to me when I was a child. So I grew up inherently believing that I was ugly and that I was chubby and that I was all these things. And I lived up to that in the sense of I was chubby. I was 230 pounds. And when I changed my image of myself, I allowed myself to change as well. So I tell people, craft the image in your mind and hold nothing but that image of the person, how you wish to see yourself. So if you want to see yourself as fit, if you want to be successful, if you want to be, kind or peaceful or calm, whatever those things are, those attributes that you want to see in yourself, envision that in your mind, exactly how you want to see yourself, and hold nothing but that. Never hold in your mind an image that you're, a loser or you're fat or you're ugly, right? Never hold those images in your mind, because the image that we hold, we will uphold. We will do what we can to make that image appear in our lives. So if you see yourself in your mind as being overweight, you will self-sabotage yourself, and you will constantly, find ways to make that a reality. So start with the image that you have in your mind of how you are, and change that to be how you wish you want, like how you want to be, right? How you want to see yourself. And then don't allow anything but that to be your image. And same thing with the rest of your life. If you're picturing the life that you want, picture how it would feel. How would you feel if you were the healthy person that you wish to be, with your life showing up the way that you want it to be? How would you feel in those moments? Because that's what's really going to bring that about, is having those feelings. So the next card is going to be for Liz. And if I don't have any other cards, then this will be the last card. I don't have any other requests, I should say, then this will be the last card that I'll pull today. But if anyone else wants a card, just drop it in there. But like I said, it will be not much longer, and I'll have to hop off anyway. Definitely try not to go over an hour and a half with a morning live. But I do go live every morning. And now that I've managed this setup with TikTok, I will be live at 9 a.m. Eastern for those of you that want to continually to join me on these lives. And every morning I do a general reading, a 3-card pull, which is 2 oracles and a tarot card. And then I pull cards for individuals. But like I said before, sometimes the messages that are meant for somebody else, they carry a message to you as well. And that's called a Cledon. So just take the Cledon and go. Take the messages that resonate and on your way. All right. That one. Number 44, Thinker. That's the card that I pulled for Liz. And remember, if you're on TikTok, if you hit the likes, it spreads. What it does is it just spreads the message, or it sends the video out further so that more people see it. So it shows up on more people's feeds. Oh, I love you, Amarpreet, and I'm sending you so much kindness and so much compassion right now. I know the part in your journey that you're in, and it's a tough spot. And I remember when I was with my partner, and he wasn't in that healing phase. So I was healing and he wasn't, and you start to change, right? And someone had said at one point before this message, and I really liked it, and it helped me with my partner. It might help you with other people in your life. But if you're growing and you're actually making changes, and you're trying to become the best person and heal your trauma and heal, the underlying, say unhelpful coping patterns that you acquired, or, changing your mindset, or, just becoming the best healed version of yourself, and other people aren't. If you're growing at 5% a year, right? How long before that person is literally in a completely different world than you, right? So you will go away from other people in time because of the changes that you're making with yourself. You won't be resonating in the same level. You won't be meshing anymore. That energy will be very disconnected, because it's hard when you've went through that healing process and put in that work. It's really hard to, I should turn off the ability to join. I didn't see that until after I went, no, 10-10 guys, 10-10. So yeah, it's a really tough spot, because we inherently want to hold on to those things, or, we think we can take them with us. And sometimes they can. Sometimes they see us changing and they change with us. They see the healing that we're doing and they heal with us. I've always believed that healers heal other people, right? When you heal, you become a healer. And when you're a healer, you heal other people, and it just spreads, right? Which is why, the group that I have in Facebook is the Divine Feminine Healing Collective, because I believe that as I'm healing and I've healed other people, that those other people will go on and heal others. And it just becomes this chain event. Yes, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for sure. But just remember, if they fall away, they weren't yours. What's meant for you is going to come to you. And what shows up is going to be so much better than what fell apart. Right? The Thinker. So this is your card. Strategy, being analytical and logical. The Oracle's message. The ability to reason and strategize is the focus now. Take things at face value and follow the logical path. Your calculations will prove to be correct, for in this moment there is no deeper meaning than what is obvious. Things are exactly as they seem. You have all the information you need. Keep it simple, and you will win the game of life you're playing right now. Relationship message. Love is not logical, but when you choose a partner, it is good to have things in common other than desire. This is a time to weigh the pros and cons of your partnership. If there is enough common ground, go for it. If not, there are other fish in the sea. Don't force it to work. And should others tell you who they are, take them at their word. Meet them where they're at. No, now is not the time to indulge in a fantasy. No matter what, in this case, the facts are the facts. For the prosperity message, calculated action is called for now. It is important to sit down and plan a strategy. Focus on the steps you're going to take to claim your prosperous life. Lists are your friends now, so get out your journal. Write down what you're going to do today to signal to the universe that you're serious about attracting abundance. Your plans and strategies will yield wonderful results. Remember, your most effective strategic partner is spirit. You will win this game, and your triumph will be for the highest good of all. That's a pretty good message, Liz. And I think it's seems just from the little bit that we've shared in the chat, it seems like it's pretty relevant right now. So making those lists, right, the pros and cons, and just recognizing meet people where they're at. I tried really hard with my ex. I really wanted him to be the one. And that was the thing I wanted. I wanted him to be the one, but he wasn't the one. So I kept trying to force him to be in this little box that was the one. And I would disregard other things. And there were times when, he would full blow, lose his mind. And then he would go off into, I'm a narcissist, and, I'm a terrible person. And, our relationship, I was abusive. And none of this is true. Even his sister stopped talking to him out of it. And she couldn't understand why, after all the things that he said and did, why I still allowed him to be in my life. And part of it is when you grow up with trauma and you grow around toxicity, and also somebody who recognizes what trauma does to you, I gave him a lot of leeway, because I knew that he had been exposed to trauma, and I knew that he needed to deal with it and he needed to heal. And I kept thinking, if he just would heal his trauma, we could be okay. But the bottom line comes back to that whole thing. If they're treating you in an abusive way, if they're treating you in a terrible way, they don't deserve to sit at your table. They don't deserve to be a part of your life, no matter what. No matter if it's because they have trauma, the because doesn't matter. It's where are they treating you? How are they treating you, right? And when we went our separate ways, I tried for a while to be friends with him. And at one point, like he'd had during our relationship of 8 years, he'd had a friend that was basically his side girl. And she was. I mean, he claims he never slept with her, and that's fine. There's other ways that you can cheat on somebody. And emotionally, he cheated on me every single day for pretty much 6 years of our 8-year relationship. Afterwards, when we were being friends, he started talking to me and saying like he wasn't having a good experience right now. He's having a really bad day because this younger girl, and like he's talking about a girl in her 20s, and we're in our 40s. I mean, I turned 48 in less than a month now. So this girl he's talking to me about, like, oh, he was, starting out and having this interaction with this girl, and it was flirting, and they were talking about like dating and getting together and making all these plans for all these different dates and blah, blah, blah. And he tells me the whole situation. And I say to him, it sounds like this girl again. Thinking that it was just the situation seemed parallel. It was like he was repeating the story again, but with a new person, like you're picking the same type as what I said. Right. And when he came back and he was like, it is her. Like he was actually thought that as friends that I would tolerate him coming to me and asking me for advice regarding this person who had been a part of our relationship to such a level that it undermined my self-worth like hugely. Imagine being in a relationship, not feeling like you're good enough because he has a friend that's so much of a friend. He's texting all day long, all night long. And if it came down to me telling him like, I don't feel comfortable with this relationship, it was, I'm not being friends with her. If you have a problem with that, you can go. So now he's talking to me about this and saying like, I expect you to be there for me. And I said, I have this boundary. I'm not going to talk to you about this person who impacted our relationship the whole time, that made me feel like I wasn't enough because you had her a part of your life. I'm not going to talk about this with you. And he felt that was such a terrible boundary for me to put in place, that he was like, I guess I've lost 2 friends today. And I was like, if that's the case, if you feel like me having a boundary and not being okay to talk about this means that we can't be friends, then I guess we can't be friends. But I'm going to uphold my boundary, and I don't want to talk about her ever. I don't want to talk about you guys in a relationship ever. So that exploded into, you're a narcissist. Our relationship was so abusive. I was ready to kill myself over and over again. And it's like, why would you put that on somebody? Why would you ever throw that on somebody to make them feel like they were somehow responsible for making you feel like you wanted to kill yourself? So that's when I stood up and I was like, no, this is unhealthy. This is not a relationship that at any point in time I should allow in my life. Anyone that makes me feel that bad about myself, that makes me question who I am as a person, to the point where like I was more like so upset, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's just, they're not for you. And you have to, at some point, you stand up and you say, this is me, and I love me, and I love me so much that I know that is not what I want in my life. And I'm okay to walk away from it because I mean more than the crap that they're giving me. And it's okay. And I don't have to tolerate bad behavior because I'm going to excuse it because, well, it's trauma. Right? We get like that because to us, bad behaviors were normal. When you grow up in a traumatic home environment, bad behaviors are normal. So we become accustomed to it. And we've long since been making excuses for other people treating us like crap. We're probably raised to have those excuses, right? A lot of times we get taught as children to be the good girl, right? I don't feel comfortable going and hugging and kissing my uncle because he gives me creepy vibes, or maybe he's touched me inappropriately. But you're being forced to go and hug and kiss him anyway and give up your emotional feelings of uncomfort to be the good girl for society reasons. Yeah, 12 years, yeah. Yeah, we do. It's familiar. It's one of those things I talk about all the time, is that we become, so what to us is comfortable is what's familiar, even if familiar is toxic and abusive and traumatic, it's still familiar. So if you grew up in a really traumatic home as a child, then you're going to seek that same traumatic environment as an adult, because your body is going to be pumping full of those chemicals, right? Your epinephrine. You get addicted. You get addicted to those things. That's why a lot of people who have trauma end up going into either really high adrenaline seeking, they look for big adrenaline seeking things, or they get into roles like frontline, right? Or going into the army, or, anything that drives that adrenaline rush. We put ourselves into those positions to drive our adrenaline, to get those fight or flight triggers, because we were raised in a home where we were being in fight or flight all the time. So we really got addicted to the feelings that were in our body because of the chemicals that are there. So that becomes really familiar to us. So when we're in a safe environment, oftentimes that feels unsafe to us. We're like, I don't understand this absence of those feelings. It feels like something's missing. It feels unsafe. It feels like I need something. So we end up pushing for another, and we'll leave safety to go to unsafe because it just feels familiar, unfortunately. And it's when you start to learn how to soothe your own nervous system and bring balance into your life, that you're okay with peace and safety and calm, that you then can have a safe relationship or a calm relationship, because that to you now becomes normal. But it's getting to that point where that feels normal to you, so that you don't go seeking out that rush that you get from those chemicals. Questioning, right? Yes, exactly. It's perfect, right? Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times we get held captive by that financial part, right? I stayed in relationships that weren't good for me either, because, I was like, and I remember saying to somebody, and they're like, "Well, why don't you just leave him?" And it's like, because if I leave him, like, financially, it's not the difference between, oh, I can't get a Starbucks latte. It's I can't pay my rent. Like, this isn't, a financial situation that's just easy, right? Like, yeah, leaving somebody that, maybe changes your standard of living a little bit, that's one thing. But if you're leaving somebody and it's going to cause a financial hardship, well, that's terrifying in and of itself, thinking, how are you going to survive? But when we let that go and we open up the space for stuff to come into us, right? Like when we're holding on to that toxicity, it's doing a heck of a lot more to us than the financial loss would do. We just don't recognize that at that time. But finances keep a lot of people captive. I know people, that I'm working with right now, who are held captive by those same principles, that they can't see their way out of the box that they're in because of finances. They're like, I don't know how. How do I afford a place to rent by myself? And it's going to be even worse the more that, with inflation and everything that's going on right now, more people are getting into poverty because the cost of living is growing. So those people that are, thinking, I want to leave this toxic relationship, or I want to leave this situation I'm in, now they're like, well, I can't afford rent on my own. So how do I leave? How do I leave when I know that I can't afford to not be in this relationship? So there's a lot of challenges with that. So I hope that everybody enjoyed the reading and the messages and stuff. That exactly, it will. And the governments, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? Patting their pockets. They're making, do you know how much money pharmaceutical companies made? Right? Do you know how much money the government made? Like, just ridiculous amounts of money. Right? And here we are, we're paying, like, there's things like, not even just inflation. Right? If inflation was at 1% or 2% or 3% across the board, everything raised by 3%, that's one thing. But it's not even that. You go in and you buy something. And I mean, Oracle cards, nobody's going to die if they don't have an Oracle card. I would be sad, but I wouldn't die. But for example, if this was, say, $20 before and now it's $30, that's not a 3% increase. And that's what's happened with a lot of the stuff that we're buying, only it's water, or is milk, or, it's the essentials of life that have increased by that percent. When you go in and you're like, I'm going to grab this bag of broccoli that used to cost $3, but now it's $6, right? That's ridiculous, but they don't account for that. They just say the average rate of inflation is, say, 3% because of the pandemic. But it's not. Individual things have risen by over 100%, some 300%, stuff like that, right? Like, it's just ridiculous. And I look at that and I'm like, how are people who were already struggling, how are they surviving now? And we're needing more food banks and we're needing, but people didn't, the other issue is consumption hasn't slowed down. People are just paying the money anyway. Like I think Jeff Bezos and the amount of money that Amazon has made because people are just buy, because everybody is stuck in that FOMO, like the fear of missing out or the fear of losing out, or, like we're going to make everybody want more and more and more and more. And they don't seem to care what position they're putting themselves in to acquire more. So because people still keep buying, supply and demand, people are still demanding. So they're going to keep supplying it, and they're going to supply it at $10 because it hasn't stopped people from buying it. Right. And it's just sad. Hi, Monica. I can see your name now, love. Fantastic. Well, you know what, Monica, because you got your name on here, I'm going to pull a card for you. That'll get us till 10:30. I'm sure that'll give the last 5 minutes. I'll be able to finish it up. We'll get that one card. How's that sound? Ooh, just about dropped some of them. I mean, if you want a card, if you don't want a card, I won't pull it, but I feel like you wouldn't mind a card. So I'm willing to do that for you since I can see your name now. I feel like she would like a card. I just have a feeling. Hooray! So I have many groups on Facebook. I don't know how many people are on TikTok that are also on Facebook, but I do have many groups on Facebook. One group in particular is called the Divine Feminine Healing Collective. And that group, I do 4 monthly sessions that are around the moon. So I'll do a new moon ceremony, which is on a Zoom video so that we can interact. I also do a full moon ceremony again on YouTube, on Zoom, where we can interact together. And then I do 2 live on the waxing and waning cycle. And it looks at how the current moon phase is going to affect you based on your rising sun and moon signs, as well as there's some energetic healing and some card pulls as well. So lots of stuff that goes on in there, energetic healing, meditation. So if you are on Facebook, you can always connect with me there. Monica, to the sea, number 7. I'll show it on here just in case. So just remember, if the message comes up, resonates with you, that's a Cledon, and it was just Spirit wanted to make sure you got it one way or another, and this is the way you're going to get it. It's through a message for someone else. To the sea. Essential meanings: being in flow, returning to source, recognizing how pieces fit together, a natural pattern of events. The Oracle's message: isn't it wonderful when you feel yourself in the flow of life, when events and conditions seem to engage you in a way that is fluid and effortless? This card reminds you that going with the flow is exactly what you need to do right now. Ride the wave of opportunity formed by perfect conditions. Allow trust and faith to guide you forward as you flow like a river into the sea of life. A relationship message: there are points in a relationship. So remember, this could be a relationship with a family member. This could be a relationship with like friends. It could be a partnership, or it could be your closest intimate relationship. There are points in a relationship when you have to decide to go with the flow rather than dictate the course you share with another. Can you let go of the need to have things your way and allow the relationship itself, your combined goals and desires, to steer the ship? Can you both transcend your personalities and allow the partnership to form its own identity, its own energy? Now is the time to relax and see where this mutual journey leads. The prosperity message: so business, finance, investments, personal growth, entrepreneurship. Everything seems to work out when you stop scrambling and allow the sea of opportunities to wash over you and wake you up to your most prosperous potential. To get into that flow, you need to address your beliefs about abundance and money. The true meaning of your personal currency lies in your skills, your talents and abilities, and most importantly, your core beliefs. Everything flows from your inner world and is reflected in the outer one. When grateful to serve, you align your prosperity consciousness with a higher consciousness. You can expect miracles. Everything you need will come to you easily. So I love that message. That everything flows from your inner world and is reflected in your outer one. When we have, and oftentimes we get raised with that. And I talk about how, yeah, I do zodiac signs in the messages. I look at rising sun and moon signs and how they're affected by the phase of the moon. And there's lots of content that gets shared on that. When we, right, Boy Scout. So when we're raised, oftentimes our parents and our families, we acquire our beliefs from the people around us, right? So as a child, we're going to acquire our belief system from our parents, from our siblings, from our friends, from our teachers, from those social circles as we're growing up. So by the time we're a teenager, we've acquired a lot of our belief systems already, and we continue to acquire them as we grow. And a lot of times we never question our belief systems. We just think that's what I believe because that's what I was taught to believe. That's what my parents believe. That's what everyone around me believes. It's just, that's the belief, right? And then sometimes we question it, right? Say we were raised in a home where we had parents that were very much against, someone being gay. We'll use that as an example, right? So if our parents were against that whole concept, then we ourselves might have a limiting belief around that. And then when we get out in life, we're like, wait a second, love is love, and I don't see this issue. So we change our belief system. But sometimes those belief systems are more deeply ingrained than we realize. And our families go around with things like, we never are successful. We are always struggling. Our family is always poor. And they say these concrete terms and they say it in such a repetitive fashion that you inherently, whether you think, like, you don't maybe think it out loud, but in your subconscious, you have this underlying belief system that you will always be struggling, that you will never have money, that you will never be successful, that you will always be poor. And if you have that underneath your belief system, then you're going to do things to self-sabotage. You're going to do things to align yourself with things that are ultimately going to bring that about, right? So what your inner world is what is going to get reflected in your outer world. So you have to look around. What are your belief systems around relationships too? If you always believe that you're always going to have a toxic relationship, or I'm always getting cheated on. Everybody cheats on me. Every guy I've been with cheats on me. If you have that belief system in your mind and you keep holding to that fiercely, then you're going to keep having those things align with you, because you're going to magnetize a person with you that has that's going to cheat on you. You're going to ask for that type of energy. So it's starting within, and really, take a notepad and journal out. Like, what are my beliefs about things? What do I really inherently believe about relationships? What do I really believe about prosperity and abundance? And, all of those different areas. What do you believe about the world? Where did you get those viewpoints from? And are they accurate? Do they help you? Do they propel you towards the dream that you want to acquire? Or are they just, hindering you ultimately? Right? Are they bringing about more misfortune or more toxicity because you just keep holding strong to those beliefs that aren't helping, right? People argue for their limitations. I love that. That is such a good expression. We argue for our limitations. Well, anyway, it was lovely to see you all this morning and to do this live, but I am popping off now. I will be back tomorrow. My hair is tickling my face. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, and I will do a collective. And then after the collective reading, we'll go into individual card pulls. Okay. So I love you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful 11/11. Do some manifesting and meditating. Okay.